West Jefferson Boulevard. To give you a little backstory, Patty has had heart surgery. She's had a valve replacement. She had an aneurysm repair, and she had a bypass which failed. But then now she has a pacemaker defibrillator in, and that was like, I don't know, a year and a half ago. And so she was considered class C in heart failure. Um, her most recent cardiac test, which was the echo, the sonogram, or what do you call it, ultrasound of the heart. Everything else came out to where her injection fraction had improved from 20 to 25 to 30 to 35, which was good. Her pulmonary function test showed that her medication was managing her well, which is good. So, by all commoners' terms, she should be good. But she had a heart ablation done about, I don't know, 8 months ago, maybe, to stop the AFib. What they do is they cauterize the little nerve endings or whatever that's caused, where AFib erupts from, to stop the AFib. And that worked, and she's doing good. And my phone is ringing. I know it's not them, but she's in a procedure right now, so I'll have to wait on that. So what happened was it was time for her regular appointment with the heart failure clinic, and so she asked them. She says, I'm getting really short of breath, and we live in a 2-bedroom apartment, separately, of course, but I mean, even from her chair to the bedroom or the bathroom, she would get really short of breath. And she uses a walker anyway that her cousin Larry, thank you, Larry, got for her. And, she uses that anyway, but that way she's just able to stop and sit down if she gets too tired. And that's why she uses all the time. So, anyway, so we were at the heart failure clinic, and hey Betty, and she saw Kayla, who's the nurse practitioner there. Dr. Muhammad is the supervising physician there, and she asked Kayla. She goes, "Look, I'm short of breath all the time, and this was good. The injection fraction improved, up by 10 points, and pulmonary test says good, echo says good, but what's going on?" You know, so she would say, "Well, could be the medicine this, could be the medicine that." And then Patty just said, "Look, isn't there a test? Isn't there something you can do to find out, what exactly this is?" And she says, "Yes, we can do a heart cath, and they go in through your neck with this thing that measures, they can look around. It's got a little camera, so they can look around at every valve and every, thing, and they measure how strong your heart pumps, and we can do that." So they got done, and then we got that done, and that was Tuesday, and she got immediately admitted, and I've told you a little bit about that. He found that she is now in stage D, level between 3 and 4 of heart failure, and let me explain that. There are 4 levels of heart failure, and they're alphabetical: A, B, C, D. A is the highest end of good. D is the bad, the worst. Within that letter D, there are 10 levels. 10 being the best of the D, and 1 being the absolute worst of D. So Patty is, he said, about 3/4. So I'm calling it 3.5. In our conversations with the doctors and the questions that she has asked him, she said, okay, well, let me tell you what they've already done. So what they did, they got a marker. They got her up and they walked her around the floor. She's in cardiac intensive care. They got her up and walked her around to see, how long it takes her to get short of breath. So they made notes of that. And then they started this new medicine through the IV. That medicine's only job is to make the heart pump stronger. That's its only job. No other thing. No other effects to the body. The only thing is that it makes the heart pump stronger. So a normal person heart pumps at a pressure, he said, of 2.2. Patty's pressure was 1.4. And then Tuesday night, it went down to 1.1. So after they got that initial marker and walked her around, then they hooked up the IV of this medicine. She had it all night long. Then they, the thing that measures that was still inside of her. That 1.1 measurement thing was still inside of her heart. So they hook her back up and start this medicine again, start this new medicine. Well, yesterday morning she was in the 3s, they said. So she was at least pumping at 3, which is excellent, which means the medicine was doing its job. And that's, he said, if this medicine don't work, we start over, watch again, try something different. But it worked on the first try. So they, got her up, walked her around again, and she was able to walk farther. We're not talking about a marathon here. We're talking about racing around. She was taking her time, using a walker, and she was able to walk farther before she got short of breath, which is good. And so right now, she is in a procedure. Well, she had the catheter removed yesterday from her neck. Y'all saw the pictures of that thing in her neck, sticking out of her neck. Well, they took that out. And today, they're putting what's called a PICC line in. And now, because that medicine works, and it can only be administered through an IV. There is no pill for this. She now has to have permanently attached an IV pump, an IV and a bag, like a diabetic pump, that continually gives you insulin. Well, now she's going to have a pump that continually gives her this IV medicine. So she's in having that procedure done right now to get that line put in. You know how, like, when you go to the hospital and they put this little catheter thing in so they don't have to poke holes every time they want to draw blood? They can just access that thing and pull your blood out and cap it back up, and you're good to go, and you don't have to be poked so many times. Well, that's the same premise as what she's having put, but like here, or I don't know what side, but anyway, there, around the neck. And so when she gets home, she has to have home health nurses come and change her bags or flush the line and check for infections, change dressings, that kind of thing. They're anticipating her being discharged Saturday, maybe Saturday morning, because it takes time to get all that arranged, and they want to see how she does with this PICC line, kind of watch her overnight, kind of a thing. The thing that's complicating this is that she had a mastectomy she had a mammogram done a week ago Monday. They called her back in to have a repeat mammogram done on Wednesday or Thursday. I think I told you about that. They did find something suspicious, so now she has to have a biopsy. So the biopsy couldn't be done inpatient because the admitting doctor was cardiac, not breast cancer. And it was scheduled as an outpatient procedure, which they cannot do inpatient because the admitting doctor is not the same doctor, all this other kind of stuff. If you're familiar with insurance and billing, definite difference between outpatient and inpatient, and who's the admitting doctor and the ordering doctor and all that razzmatazz. So now her biopsy is scheduled for the 24th at 8:30 in the morning. Now, if it comes back that her breast cancer has returned, she cannot be on the heart transplant list, because to get on that list, you have to be cancer-free for 5 years. So we'll have to wait on the biopsy to know about that. Cancer or no cancer, an option is to have a heart pump put in. He said it's about a little bit bigger than a 50-cent piece, almost the size of her pacemaker. But I'm telling you, her pacemaker was huge. So, but he said that gets placed in the heart, and its only job is to pump, not to resuscitate, not to pace or anything else. That's its only job, is to pump. Battery, just like the pacemaker or whatever, would have to be replaced every 10 years. However, pump or no pump, her heart is still in decline at the near end stages of heart failure, class D heart failure. So even though it's pumping, her heart will still continue to decline. So, and then depending on the cancer, mastectomy, no mastectomy, in the middle of all of this, only really complicates things, and I don't know that it would accelerate anything, but it just is just not a good add-on, if you know what I mean. Now, Patti is her usual jovial self, joking around, talking about she's going to be the Tin Man. She's going to be bionic. She won't have to wear any bra. She can walk around without a shirt. She's making light, and, she's doing what she needs to do for Patti and for me. I mean, she's keeping my spirits up, because she did have serious conversations with her doctor, such as, so since my numbers are better and this medicine is helping, am I going to improve? And his answer was no. You are in the near end stages of heart failure, and it only declines from here. She accepted that. She says, will I need hospice? No, do I have to go to hospice? And he said, if that's what you want. And she says, I want to be at home. He said, well then, when the time comes, that can be, arranged through your palliative care people. But let's see how this medicine works. So he's being honest with her and answering her questions and keeping it real. But he's also leaving that, okay, for right now, today, let's see how this works, and go from there. Because when you said that, when you have two things like this that go on at the same time, the only thing you can do is one day at a time, because tomorrow may be different than today, and the decline may be rapid. The decline may not be as rapid, but for certain, she's 3.5 clicks away from leaving us on this earth. So, pump or no pump, the only saving grace in all of this would be a heart transplant, which, if she has the cancer, she cannot have. So I'm asking for some positive prayers that when they do this biopsy, they find that it's like nothing. Because what they saw, I came on here live, I think, and I told you, I had the pictures there at Patty's house, but I didn't think to show you. But what they found in her breast is, about as big as half the tip of my finger here, When they found the breast cancer last time, it was big. It was a lot bigger. So we're hoping maybe, and that thing wasn't there last year for the mammogram. So we'll see. All we can do is we'll see. But she has the absolute best, nation's top 10 cardiologists, heart failure people, heart transplant people on her team. She is awake and she's not getting around, but she's awake and she's still her jovial self that y'all know, and goofing around, and she's still there. She is not in a negative headspace, because I have the responsibility to coordinate her care and hear all the hard truths and everything like that. She's helping me stay lifted, because she's, keeping my spirits up along with hers. And then I get home, and then I just, that's when you just go into a wet washcloth situation and you feel weak and you cry, and that's when all that happens. But so she may be coming home Saturday, like I said, and then she'll have the home care set up and everything else. Apparently the team there, the home health nurses, are going to train her and me and her caregivers, and I'm going to video it while she's teaching us, so whoever the caregiver is can watch the video and see how it's done, so there is no telephone game here. The telephone game where it starts out saying something, by the time it gets to the last person, it's all screwed up and messed around. Well, we can't have any of that. So I'm going to video it as a training session and replay it for whoever is going to be her caregiver. Because right now she's going from 4 hours a day, like every third day, to like 12 hours a day every day she's home. So, and having nurses come in, we were told this morning, every day to check on that bag and whatever for the first little bit, then train us, and then they'd come in weekly. So she can still, she'll get that pump and she'll be wearing it like a fanny pack, or like, she can hang it on her arm like a little purse kind of a thing. But that pump has got to be with her at all times, day and night. And so, we can still go to Dollar Tree, but she's going to have to be, have her walker with her. And one of my friends, Nina Rodocker, said, wow, I'm really surprised with the heart failure. You wouldn't have known with, her going shopping with you at Dollar Tree. When I make videos and shopping and stuff like that, I edit the video to cut out some parts that you don't really need to know, which is Patti getting tired. Asking, if you remember, there's a Dollar Tree video not too long ago when she went with me, and she was trying to grab my cart. I said, no, honey, I need this to hold on to myself, because I have a similar problem. And so, but what you didn't see was me go get her the cart so she could hang on to something. And then, she might let go, to walk around the corner a little bit, to see what's on the shelf. And that's what happens. But you don't see the weak parts, of Patti in my videos because I don't want that out there. I'll show you my weak parts because I give 0 F's what anybody thinks about me because this is a real life situation. But for Patti, I don't want it to be her public weakness to be, out there. I had her permission to film her while she was in the hospital with that thing on her neck. She said, yeah, sure, go ahead. Maybe somebody can learn from it. Okay, so I did. But I didn't just do that to, freak people out. It was more of an educational thing. So that's where we're at. I suspect that call was probably to tell me she's out of the procedure, and of course she's doing good because they weren't even gonna. They were just gonna lightly sedate her, no big deal. So I'm gonna get something to eat. I've got to take care of her cat Abby, Pink Nose, that's her little nickname, and get Austin squared away and head back out to the hospital, where hopefully I can talk to the doctor later on and see see what's up, and then just visit my friend, go hang out with my buddy. So thanks Pam, thanks Shelly. Yeah, it is hard. Hello reductionist, welcome. So yeah, thanks for the prayers. Patti thanks you for the prayers. She thanked you for the prayers yesterday. Said back at you. So like I said, she's her attitude is like she needs an award for being like the most positive person on the planet in the face of the worst possible things on the planet. She just stays positive, and she has her moments where we talk about serious things and stuff like that. Like yesterday, she wanted to talk about her funeral, so I let her talk because I'm supposed to, we've got all that set up. She was worried about, well, if something happens, she's going to be $4,000 short because she's been paying on her funeral now for 3 years. She's already set it up. It's like $9,000, and she's paid $180 a month for 2.5 years. She's paid that since we got it all set up. She set it up right before her heart surgery. So she says, well, if I haven't paid it off, they won't do anything, which is true. If something happens with Patti before she pays off her funeral, the funeral home will accept her, but they won't even touch her until that funeral that she planned is paid in full. Now, the funeral home here is Fair Haven Funeral Home on Clinton Street in Fort Wayne. If you want to help out, you can pay ahead on Patricia Stigleman's funeral. But so she planned the bare minimum. She just wants a 3-hour viewing. That's it, 3 hours. And in that same room, without having to rent a chapel out or anything else, in that same room, those people can just get up and talk about their experiences and friendships and whatever. And then they're out. 3-hour viewing, 2-hour talk, gone. Bye. Sayonara. And she's being cremated and sent to Florida. And I get the little piece, and that's about it. So that's $9,000. Can you freaking believe that? $9,000 for 3-hour layout and a cremation. I tell you, I should have been a freaking mortician, is all I got to say. But anyway, so we talked about that. I told her I could do what I could do. I can't do any more than what I can do. But we are, since she's at this stage, yes, we are now accepting donations for the balance of her funeral. And you can just do that directly at Fairhaven Funeral Homes on Clinton Street in Fort Wayne, in the name of Patricia Stigleman's Arrangements. not me. I don't want no money. I don't get nothing out of this deal. This is all about Patti, and you can pay it directly to the funeral home. So we're looking at inside of a year for the decline. If she does not get the heart transplant, pump or no pump. So that's where we're at. And that's about as serious as it gets. So if he told her she had the right to decline that, what was the word he used? Refuse. She had the right to refuse this medicine. And she's like, why would I do that? So what happens if I stop taking this medicine? She goes back to the 1.1 and the decline continues on as fast as it was declining. It's still going to be declining as fast as it was declining. Pump, no pump, medicine, no medicine. And, Patti gets $40 a month in SSI, and she gets like $829 of Social Security a month. That's it. That's all. And she didn't have life insurance. Doesn't have life insurance. Sure can't get it now. But, when Savannah died, I encouraged all of my friends to get life insurance now. Don't wait, because you don't think you're going to need it, and bam, there it is. So, that's where we're at right now. Hopefully she'll be home Saturday. I'll let you know more later, but I'm doing this for the benefit of her family as much as I am for my subscribers, because I know all of y'all love her. I mean, she loves y'all too. She just loves you guys. And so, and then her family can, tune in, catch up, stuff like that. But it's hard to talk about these serious things. But if we don't talk about these serious things among friends and help inform other people who have a much more cushier life than we do, how the other half has to live, then, they will never know. So maybe for all time and eternity, the path for Patricia Stigleman of Fort Wayne, Indiana, can be an educational example for other people of how to go through the absolute worst thing. She's had breast cancer. She had breast cancer in 2015. She found out 2 weeks before me and her both were in college same time, getting our second degrees. And she found out 2 weeks before graduation that she had breast cancer. So she never got to use her degree because her breast cancer mastectomy was, 2 weeks after graduation. And then chemo, and then radiation, and then heart, and then heart, and then heart, and then heart valve replacement, aneurysm repair, bypass, which the bypass failed. Now this, then pacemaker, and then now she found out about the lump on her breast, 2 weeks ago, and then 2 days later, she finds out she's getting this, she gets this thing scheduled and finds this out. And still maintains that same jovial, laughing, happy, optimistic self. So praise God for her. She is a blessing in my life. Her strength keeps me going during her weakest times. And I pray that, dear Heavenly Father, when it's time for him to take her, gives her the most glorious eternity of peace and joy that anyone can possibly have. If you guys want to help out, there's a way to do that below. If you want to help for what is sure to come, you can send money directly to Fairhaven Funeral Home on Clinton Street in Fort Wayne, Indiana. You can Google it. Fairhaven is 2 words. And just tell them you want to donate towards the arrangements for Patricia Stigleman. And her date of birth is June 10th, 1956, if they ask. So, I need to go. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'll keep you updated. Bye.